Hello, 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 and welcome back to another edition of Fan Talk, your favorite podcast by your favorite fan. That is, of course, me, Kyle Brunchley, in the house on this Tuesday. The club's going up on a Tuesday. We got the sign there, and no Rogue One yet. I have been watching Andor little by little. I am not quite finished with season 2, so no spoilers, please. I'm slowly getting there. I love it so far. Man, best Star Wars show in my opinion, that Disney Plus has produced. Even better than The Mandalorian. Yes, that's right. I said it. Flame me in the comments all you want. But Fan Talk's a podcast you can find anywhere you get your podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Brunchley, a fellow fan just like you, trying to get by in this crazy world. And sports is the medicine. You can find this podcast, like I said, anywhere you get your podcasts. I also upload on YouTube if you like the video version. Spotify also has the video version, so check me out on there. Like, subscribe, comment, whatever you do, whatever you like to do. All right, guys, we're talking NBA conference finals today here on the podcast. It's going to be fun. We got the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference matchups. We're going to be comparing both of them, and I'll be projecting the winners and whatnot and looking at the matchups and seeing what will come out of that. And we'll look back on the NBA bracket to see how we got here and look ahead to the NBA finals that will be coming up here in just a little bit, which teams have the gas to get there. All that and more here on Fan Talk. All right, guys, before we make projections and before we talk about what I think is going to happen, can I just say it's been a very fun NBA playoffs. Very different this time around than perhaps years past. I was looking at a stat that for the first time since I think it was, I can't remember the year, but the first time in like years that the Western Conference Final did not feature a team from either California or Texas. And that's pretty crazy. I mean, if you think about it, you think back the last, 20, 30 years. Obviously, Golden State was there a lot recently. The Lakers have always kind of been there recently. You had the San Antonio days with Duncan, Ginobili, and Parker. You had the Dallas Mavericks, Jason Kidd, and Dirk Nowitzki. So it's a first time in a very long time that the Western Conference is not going through California and Texas, which I think is reason to celebrate. Personally, I'm an underdog guy. I've always thought that I was an underdog. I've always viewed myself as an underdog. And so I've always cheered for the underdogs when it comes to sports. And in my opinion, even though that the Oklahoma City Thunder are the 1 seed, in my opinion, they're underdogs because they're a team that have not won the NBA Finals ever. We'll take a look at past NBA championships, which teams have won, which teams haven't of the 4 remaining. But the OKC Thunder have never won. And even though they're the 1 seed, I think it'd be a great year for them to win it. But before we get too much into that, let's look back on how we got here. Obviously, the playoffs have been going for about a month now. So a lot of these series are well removed. But let's start in the Western Conference. The Oklahoma City Thunder had a fairly easy path through in the first round against the Grizzlies, got by them in 4, and then had a very hard, it's like night and day. It's like, oh, we get the Grizzlies round 1, and then we get the Nuggets round 2. Nuggets were a team that honestly, a 4 seed, a lot of people were sleeping on. I had them in the NBA Finals in a couple brackets that I kind of put together before. They're a very good team. I mean, you got Nikola Jokic on your team, arguably one of the best players in the entire world. They're going to be competitive every single year. And OKC took them to 7 games. Ultimately, Game 7 was a blowout, but the first 6 games were all competitive, very close, very fun series. Probably one of my favorite series, if not favorite series of the NBA playoffs thus far. Thunder did get the win and made it to the conference finals. Timberwolves kind of have had a very tough but rewarding path. They took out the Lakers in 5. Luka Doncic, LeBron James, the Lakers in 5. And they took out the Warriors, the Warriors were a 7 seed. But honestly, when you got Steph Curry on your team, it doesn't matter what seed you are. That team is dangerous. They took them out in 5. Mostly because Steph Curry was injured for 4 of those games. So the Timberwolves lucked out there. But the Timberwolves 8-2 in the postseason so far. Oklahoma City Thunder 8-3. This is going to be an awesome matchup. On the Eastern side, We have the Indiana Pacers, who have honestly kind of dominated their matchups in a lot of ways. A lot of people didn't think they would. I thought the Bucks Pacers series was going to go either way. Pacers won it in 5. Cavaliers, wow, the curse of Donovan Mitchell continues. 7 years in the league, 7 years in the postseason, and he can't make it out of the second round. They lose in 5 to the Pacers. And then you got the New York Knicks, who had 2 old-fashioned, hard-nosed series against a team like the Pacers. They won in 6, and then they beat the Celtics in 6, with Jason Tatum obviously rupturing his Achilles, helping them there. But the Knicks, Pacers in the East, Thunder, Timberwolves in the West. Let's look at NBA champions in the past. If you were to look back on history and see what these teams have done, you'll find that of the 4 remaining teams, none of them have had that great of championship caliber seasons. I mean, you think of a team like the New York Knicks, and you're like, oh, they probably have won like 20 championships. They have actually only won twice. If you can see here on this list, you can obviously see Lakers and Celtics make up, a majority of the championships, with the Golden State Warriors had a lot of good years recently, and the Chicago Bulls during the Michael Jordan era. You look here at the New York Knicks down here. They've won twice. They've gone to the NBA Finals 8 times and only have won twice. They've won it in 1970 and 1973. I guarantee anyone listening to this podcast, the exception of maybe my parents, if they're listening, were not even alive when the New York Knicks won NBA Finals. Last time they were even there, 1999. Still, a lot of you weren't even alive in 1999. So the Knicks, while a blue blood in the NBA, while a top team or whatever you want to say, really don't have the championships to back it up. It's been, 52 years since they last won a championship, so half a century. And the last time they were there was 26 years ago. So I am not buying into this. We hate the New York Knicks because they've always been there and they're the bad guys. No, they're not. I would be totally fine if they won the NBA Finals. And we go down here, Oklahoma City Thunder. It says they have won one, but technically they were the Seattle Supersonics when they won it. They won it back in 1979, as you can see here. Their last appearance was in 2012. When they had Kevin Durant, James Harden, Russell Westbrook. It was incredible that they only went to the NBA Finals once during that span. But of course, you had the big 3 in San Antonio kind of running the show, and the beginning emergence of Golden State there. So Oklahoma City Thunder have gone 4 times. 3 of those times were when they were the Seattle Supersonics. And they've only won once, and that was in 1979. So I'd be totally okay with Oklahoma City winning it all. Let's check on the other 2 teams. The Indiana Pacers have gone once. They went in the year 2000, and they lost. So they have never won an NBA championship. The Minnesota Timberwolves, so you can see down here, have never even gone to the NBA Finals. They've obviously never won it because they've never been there. So all these teams, and this maybe is just me speaking because, like I said, I like the underdog. I like teams who haven't been there to be there. All these teams honestly have my attention. They all have my green flag. I would be totally okay if any of these 4 teams won. I do think I have preference. I always do. I'm a sports fan. I can't say I'm walking in and I say I don't care, right? I do have preference, but this is the first time in a long time where there's not a team where I'm like, I really don't want them to win, Like in years past, you have Golden State in there. I don't want Golden State to win. Or last year, I was like, I don't know. I don't want the Celtics to win because, the Celtics literally have 18 championships. They have more championships appearances than any other team in the entire league. So there's nothing like that this time around. So, hey, any team, go out and win it. But let's break it down by conference. Let's break it down and talk about what we want to see, what we think we will see. And let's start in the Western Conference. Oklahoma City Thunder and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, the Oklahoma City Thunder, best record in the NBA, 1 seed in the Western Conference. They dominated all year round. They're the youngest team. Like, pretty much everyone on their team is like 22 or 23. So, like, younger than me and maybe younger than some of you that are listening, which is pretty weird to think now that I'm watching professional sports and most of the athletes, a good part of the athletes are younger than me, even though I'm 25 years old. And that just blows my mind. But regardless, Oklahoma City Thunder, led by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who, in my opinion, should win the MVP this year. It's down to him and Jokic. This is a fun team to watch. This is awesome. And I'll be honest, I mostly have caught them in the postseason. I don't watch a ton of NBA during the regular season. I've explained this before. I'd prefer to watch college basketball or football because it's just not as competitive in the regular season, to be frank. But this Oklahoma City Thunder team, young, talented, hungry for a championship. Can you imagine if this team won? It would be incredible. Game 1 tonight against the Minnesota Timberwolves. This Minnesota Timberwolves team, of course, led by Anthony Edwards, who is an absolute baller. Anthony Edwards, I need a guy in my corner. I want Anthony Edwards. Man, he is Mr. Clutch. He's got it going on. He knows what's up. The Timberwolves are in very good position having him at the forefront of their approach here. The game 1 is tonight. This is being filmed on Tuesday. This game is in Oklahoma City. Now, Oklahoma City coming off, 2 days of rest. They just took out the Denver Nuggets on Sunday, so they have less rest. The Timberwolves have had about a week or so of rest. So it comes down to rust, right? Who's going to come out swinging? It's going to be a fun game 1. Personally, I think the Minnesota Timberwolves win game 1. Now, the reason I say this is because Oklahoma City and the Minnesota Timberwolves, they played 4 times this year, and they split the series 2-2. So Oklahoma City won 2, Minnesota won 2. In 3 of those 4 games, the Minnesota Timberwolves did not have Julius Randle or DiVincenzo or Rudy Gobert for that matter. And so while Oklahoma City were able to scout them and prepare for them, it's somewhat of a new team. They have Julius Randle now. They have Rudy Gobert. They have DiVincenzo, who weren't in those past tapes. So when they're going back to watch the film, that's like, your approach almost has to be different now. You have to go watch Minnesota games. You can't watch the games that you played them in because you have these 3 guys that weren't there during the previous game. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. Can Oklahoma City Thunder play defense? Can they shut down Julius Randle? You're not going to shut down Anthony Edwards. He's going to do his thing. But can you shut down Julius Randle? That's usually the case when it comes to professional sports. The top guy's going to do his thing. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to do his thing. Anthony Edwards is going to do his thing. Can you shut down guy number 2? Can you shut down guy number 3? Can you shut down Julius Randle for the Minnesota Timberwolves? Should be interesting. I personally am going to take the Timberwolves in game 1. But I don't know, depending on how this game goes, I'm leaning towards Oklahoma City Thunder winning this series, but I think the Timberwolves will come out, punch them in the throat, take game 1. Let me know down below what you guys think. Of course, always share your thoughts with me. Share your predictions. Let's go to the Eastern Conference now. You got the New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers. Now, on paper, I look at this New York Knicks teams and I say, this is a better team. I say there's Jalen Brunson. You have Karl Anthony Towns. You have Josh Hart. You have Mikal Bridges. You have OG Anunoby. You have a solid starting 5. But then you look at this Pacers team, and I honestly thought the Bucks would beat them. I thought the Cavaliers would beat them, and they've surprised me. And they're back in the Eastern Conference Finals. They were there last year, if you remember. They got swept by Boston, but they were in the Eastern Conference Finals. So this is the second year in a row that they're there. Tyrese Halliburton. I've heard a lot of people say he's overrated. I think he's the real deal. Have you ever watched him in a game? I mean, it's one thing to sit down and be like, Tyrese Halliburton, yeah, he's no Kevin Durant. He's no prime Damian Lillard. He's no Luka Doncic. Oh yeah, well, you're making those comparisons. He's a different player. He's a unique player, and he's good at what he does. Sit down and watch a game. Their first game is on Wednesday in Madison Square Garden, of course, in New York City. But Halliburton, Mr. Clutch, hit a couple of clutch shots against Cleveland to send them packing. I like the Pacers. I really do. I like the Pacers. I do think the Knicks are going to win, though. Not even just game 1, but the whole series. Knicks in 6 or 7, honestly. It's probably going to be a 7-game series, this Knicks-Pacers. But Knicks, this is just their year. I mean, like if just let's throw away all logic, let's throw away all stats, let's throw away everything. It's just a good story. They haven't been there in 52 years. They finally have a team that is able to compete. They finally slayed their giants. They slayed their demons in the Boston Celtics. The Celtics own the Knicks. I thought the Celtics were going to be the Knicks' daddy again come postseason, but they slayed their giant. They overcame their nightmare. They are in the Eastern Conference Finals. Now they have a tough test in the Indiana Pacers, but Jalen Brunson, he's Mr. Clutch as well. He is a dog. And if you get those role players, you get those other starters cooking, watch out. Tom Thibodeau, you just might be the king of New York. But this should be a very fun game. Again, if you have not sat down to watch the Indiana Pacers, watch this team. I wouldn't be surprised if they split games in New York. It might come out 1-1. They might split 2 in Indiana. It might be 2-2 at that point. I don't know. And then game 5, game 6, game 7, that's where things can really heat up. But we will see. We will see. Of course, as always, let me know your predictions down below. Who do you have winning in the Eastern Conference as well as the Western Conference? If you're bold enough, tell me who you have winning the entire NBA Finals. It should be fun. Like I mentioned before, I don't have any beef with any of these teams. Obviously, the Utah Jazz are nowhere near the NBA Finals. So I'm going to sit back. I'm going to relax. I'm going to maybe play some prize picks, play some friendly wagers on these games, have fun, and enjoy basketball while it's here, because soon it will be gone, and we'll be talking about the NBA draft coming up here in the future. But for now, thank you guys so much for listening to Fan Talk. This is a podcast you can find anywhere you get your podcast. I'm also on YouTube, so like, subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see you guys next week for another edition of Fan Talk.